All right, thank you so much, Greg. It's great to be here at Gusto. Next, 2022, can we give a round of applause for Gusto Next 22? You guys having a good time? I just love how much energy and humor Greg brings to this event every year. And a huge thank you to all you in the audience, our staff, and all the first responders, of course, here in the room and virtual for all your engagement today. I'm so excited to be here, presenting with one of my favorite folks to collaborate with. He goes by many names, Special K, KK, Double K, but I know him as Kenji Kuramoto. So let's give it up for Kenji of Acuity. Yes.
Very, very nice of you guys. Yeah. We like sharing the stage together, don't we?
We do.
It's kind of our thing. Cool. Quick audience poll. How did the two of us meet? Anybody know here? So we got a couple options for you. Was it working back in the old dark days of public accounting back, in the early 2000s? Or a super cool safari that we went on? Remember that one?
Good.
Back about 10 years ago? Or was it Augusta Next last year? Any 1, 2, or 3? Any,
Put your hands up.
Any guesses? Who's got
Let's see.
the second one? I see a few, 2, 3. Survey says. Gusto, no, it's great. Gusto Next is great.
There's such a disappointment. All the air just went out of the room.
Hey, let's get that safari, though, right? Let's get that. I feel like we need to do that. So, yeah, the correct answer is number 3. And really, we can thank Gusto for bringing us together last year. Let me tell you, I'm really happy that Josh and I got to get connected and our firms got to get connected. This guy has really helped our firm bring in some revenues from a service that we were actually very skeptical about whether we could deliver. So, thank you for that, my friend.
Absolutely. So let's get into what are R&D credits. The R&D credits is a credit that is a dollar for dollar credit. Have you guys heard about the R&D credit? Just take a survey here.
Who's heard about it?
All right. That's maybe about half the room. I appreciate that. So the credit's an incentive that's given to companies that innovate. So again, for every dollar that's invested in innovation, including payroll expenses, they can obtain a percentage back as a credit. And that generally is between about 13.5 cents and 20 cents on the dollar for those expenses. But it varies. So for every dollar a client owes in tax liabilities, they can get $1 through these R&D tax credits. It can also be retroactive. So if you later discover these credits in earlier years and you've already paid that tax, you can actually get a refund in those back years. No. Companies can then reinvest that money back into the business to keep their company at the forefront. And while engineering, computer science, software are very, very common, many industries can qualify, like manufacturing, construction, retail, consulting, food and beverage. If your clients are developing these new or improved products, processes, computer software, techniques, formulas, inventions, they can qualify for these incredible tax incentives.
So we actually heard about this a little bit in Liz's presentation this morning, but I was also shocked when we started looking into this, just how massive the opportunity is with the R&D tax credit. The only problem is it's also incredibly underutilized. So you can see 60 billion of the $92 billion in tax credits that are available went unclaimed. And it goes unclaimed for a few reasons. Many small businesses just don't realize that they are eligible. But that's kind of a cool part, whereas we as accountants who work with them, we can help with that, right? So the reality is that as accountants, we've got a lot of things that we have to stay on top of. And it's even challenging, especially when we're small firms, right? Of having enough staff to do all this. The cool thing is Gusto's made this, easy to know know if our clients qualify through some of the automatic alerts that you've built. So just one less worry you have to worry about. And so when you bring this up to clients, there are some who are, I would say, savvy enough to kind of know they've maybe heard about it, but there's often some myths around them that they may think, wait a minute, I don't think we're going to be able to apply. So let's kind of hit some of these real quick, but they often are things like, hey, I think we have to be profitable, right? How can I take a tax credit if I'm not earning income? Like we're burning cash right now. Or I forgot to file last year, so you think I missed the window. Or the research we did, it didn't work. Like it didn't work out, so I'm sure that doesn't count. Or maybe someone else has done the research before them. So That, or I think a really common one that was also addressed, even, Eddie mentioned it earlier, of like, this used to be thought of as a big company, large company thing. Like, I think I'm too small. I don't think that there's going to be enough of an impact I can have getting this credit, but so many don't want to apply for it. So help us bust these myths.
So which of you think these are true? Any raise your hands? Well, it's a trick question, because guess what? None of them are true, right? So you don't have to be profitable to apply. In fact, a lot of these clients are small startups that are yet to be cash flow positive, or even, as we consider it, pre-revenue. So if you forgot to file last year, it's not a problem either. One cool thing about the R&D tax credit is that it can also be retroactive, as we alluded to. So even if you filed last year and we discover credits this year, you can get a refund retroactively. Your research does not have to be successful to qualify. Qualification is more about the types of activities you engage in rather than if they were successful. And the last one, even if others have done it before you, you might not realize that you actually went about it in a new or a novel way. And that is what we can start to unpack with you and your clients when we are looking into whether the business qualifies. In terms of the credit being too small, that's what's so great about technology and our pricing. The technology makes it super scalable. You like that, super scalable? And our pricing is charged as a percentage and a fee not to exceed 20%. So it's virtually always worth it. We work with companies of all sizes, from first-year startups to well-established Fortune 500 companies.
And just to jump in a little bit on that last point, I think from a firm perspective, even if the credit is small, Gusto has really made the process simple for firms and for clients. From automatically notifying you from when clients might be eligible, to using powerful AI to kind of comb through the data and maximize the tax credits so you don't have to go and do that. So it's, to your point, it's always worth it, right? And for our firm, it's also meant freeing up time that we'd spent collecting that for more impactful advising. And I know that so many accounting firms and folks who are here today know just how impactful that advisory work can be for clients. I think like you're going to hear from Keela a little later in her presentation, that not only does our expert advice help drive incredible business outcomes, but it also makes a really positive impact in people's daily lives. So, especially with the recent passage of the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. We were actually just talking about this last night. Steve, I think we were talking last night about this. What's happened is the maximum R&D tax credit just recently got doubled up from $250,000 up to $500,000 annually. So big jump there, $500,000.
It's huge.
So make sure your clients are getting these credits because they can be sizable. That's huge there. So, and just like Gusto has built tools, many have done the certification kind of day yesterday, but things like People Advisory Certification, the Accelerator, People Analytics and Gusto Pro, they've made getting clients potentially tens of thousands of dollars in R&D tax credit easier as well, directly within Gusto Pro.
So perfect segue, right? Let's talk a little bit about what we've built in Gusto to make it easier for firms and powerful for clients. In June 2021, Gusto acquired Ardius. Round of applause. Yay. All right, cool. So it's our Gustoversary, you could say, right? And so in that last year, we've been integrating technology, our Ardius technology, into Gusto. And since the beginning of this year, built a product that's specifically for accounting firms. So here's what we built. Proactive client eligibility alerts. So Gusto can proactively alert you about tax credits that your eligible clients might be eligible for, right? So you can deliver that good news. Meticulous documentation. R&D specialists produce time-consuming forms, comprehensive studies, and meticulous documentation, taking hours of work off your plate. Expert human oversight. We stay on top of the latest rules and procedures to ensure compliance. Plus, our team has over 100 years of combined R&D experience. So record keeping, disbursement, all the paperwork can be a pain. So we've automated it for accuracy and ease. And audit support, right? Look at that bicep up there, right? Gusto provides up to 10 hours of audit support to each client. So you got help in the unlikely case of an audit. An incentive program, which we'll get into a little bit. Earn a revenue share when clients qualify and claim their R&D credit, plus a bonus for referring the client.
That's right. So let's talk about that. It's been very impactful for us as a firm. And so by using Gusto's R&D tax credit service at Acuity, we've turned a niche and kind of time-consuming operation for both staff and for clients, actually, into a streamlined service. And like Josh mentioned earlier, the RevShare. There's a referral and RevShare program that's helped provide new ways for our firm to generate revenue. And as a gold partner, we actually make 20% of whatever the RevShare on Gusto's fee is for all clients we refer, plus the referring accountant, team member on our team, gets a $500 incentive anytime they refer a client that qualifies. So it makes it kind of a really lucrative thing for your firm and also for the team member who helps identify this as well. And again, we love generating revenue as a firm. Like, who doesn't? We're here to do that. But also reliably saving clients tens of thousands of dollars, which is really very, very cool. Awesome. And I think about this as an opportunity for your firm to put some cash flow back into our clients' businesses, because it's one of those times I think that as an accountant, we're not looked at like a cost center like we always are. So it's kind of a cool thing to be able to help get them some cash.
You're the hero, yeah.
So we started offering this because clients were always asking us as their tax advisor to help them save money, right? And in those cases, our advisors would bring up the R&D tax credit, but in the days before we started using Gusto, the R&D tax credit application was non-trivial, right? This is, as accountants, we have to assess whether clients can reasonably apply and for how much. We have to explore several years of expense and payroll data and deeply understand the nature of the research and development. And for this reason, as a firm, we needed to outsource this work, right? It's just not something we couldn't do. And probably the only opportunity we had from a revenue standpoint was to get paid for the hours that our advisors were involved in. So that was kind of an okay solution, but it didn't really give us the ability to offer a full service advisory. As we once referred clients, we didn't really get to stay in the loop of what was kind of happening on the R&D tax credit process. Whereas with Gusto, we can, which is really great. We have the flexibility to stay as involved as we want to be. And this has allowed us to use R&D really as a way to deepen the impact of our advisory offering and deepen the client relationship.
We hear that a lot from firms, that they want to be kept more in the loop. We also hear from them that their clients are busy. So while they might be interested, they may not think that they have the time to pursue getting these R&D credits. And legally, accountants cannot apply on their behalf. So what does this mean? This means that the work often falls on one of the client's operations executives, and they rarely have time. And for that reason, clients tend to say yes, but not follow through.
For sure. This was certainly the case for us. And Gusto just made it easy because, probably like many of the firms here, most of our clients were already using Gusto for payroll. So this meant for us one fewer vendor relationship, that we had to build and maintain, one fewer piece of software or technology that we had to go and teach, we had to teach our clients to use. And so much of the data, that we needed to enter to determine the size of the R&D credit, right? Gusto already had because it's payroll data, right? So it's already there natively in the system we're using, which is great for helping us connect all the dots in this whole process. It was just really great that we didn't have to do that Gusto was already doing that for us. And then I think another kind of cool little cherry on top on this was the fact that it was a real-time tax credit redemption service. So when you don't use Gusto, your offsets happen quarterly. What that means is after the quarter goes by, you got to wait then for the IRS, weeks, months, who knows how long in this case, right, to get that ACH back, to get that check back. That could be a long time you're waiting. Whereas with Gusto, you actually get those offsets get applied to those eligible payroll tax amounts on each and every paycheck. And this really, really helps startups in particular, I'd say, with their cash flow and their burn. It's completely free if you end up using Gusto for both payroll and your R&D tax credits. If you use another company for your R&D tax credits, it's going to cost clients up to $1,200 per month. So this is impactful because most startups are running at losses. They're tight on resources. They're not, even though they aren't paying much tax, they are paying people regardless of income, and that credit can really be a huge help.
By the way, I love this picture of the Acuity group.
Look at the team. It makes me so happy seeing my feet.
So clients really like saving that $1,200. So the other thing is that we often hear from clients that really sets us apart is just how good the technology is. We built this system to use machine learning to quickly assess whether clients are likely to qualify for a credit and roughly how much it's likely going to be, sort of a range. That technology has the power to not only analyze the current tax year, but it can easily, just as easily, look back to other years. And so because it's software, this nicely sets up an infrastructure to capture the future years too. So supplementing the technology is also a team that has deep expertise, not just in tax, but R&D tax credits specifically. So some of our team members were even fortunate enough to work with the folks who drafted the tax regs, as Greg alluded to, right? And it's now even known as the Audit Technique Guide. So rest assured, to your clients and for yourselves that we have the confidence that we know what to look for and how to support you in this process.
And their level of expertise is, I think, one of the things that really, really mattered to us. We have some sophisticated clients, and some of them have some really large R&D tax credit opportunities. So we wanted to make sure we needed a partner that had a lot of expertise that we could trust, and a partner that would stand behind their work in the unlikely case of an audit. And we got a lot of peace of mind, I think, working with the folks with impressive credentials, just like Josh talked about. And we felt more protected just in knowing that we'd get that audit support and guidance. And that really gave our clients a peace of mind as well, too. They rely on us, I think, as the accounting firms and the partners who we recommend to them to provide that expert guidance. And Gusto has really done that for R&D tax credits.
So speaking of clients, Kenji, again, one of my favorite, parts of working with you and your firm at Acuity is just getting to see how much you care all about your client relationships. So you really all do put your clients first, and that's so evident in how you run your firm. Wherever clients want to go, Acuity grows. That's your saying, right? So when I think of the epitome of a really good, productive firm-client relationship, one where it's collaborative and everyone just gets a lot of value, and the relationship true comes to mind, the client. What you were able to achieve for them through the R&D tax credits was just awesome.
Yeah, I think all of us feel that way about our clients, right? About how dear and important they are to us. And so, yeah, when we just started working with Troop earlier this year, it's a small tech startup. And early in the relationship with them, Letty, one of our tax managers, was reviewing some of their information. And she realized that they were a startup that had pretty sizable payroll costs. So the next time she met with them, she talked to their founder, Felix, and I kind of asked him, hey, have you looked into this R&D tax credit before? And he's never heard of it, so she explains, what it is, and hey, by the way, this looks kind of likely that you might get this credit. And of course, asked if he's interested, and he was like, yeah, free money, of course I'm interested in that. And so it's really beneficial for Troop because like most startups, they are running at a loss. They are paying people regardless of the lack of revenue. They're in a pre-revenue stage, like you mentioned. And so that credit can be a huge help to offset the payroll taxes. So, and fast forward, she makes the intro to Gusto. And what was great was it gets an immediate personalized response back from your team. Mm-hmm. She knew they'd be in good hands because, again, they just take so much good care in managing clients. And not only that, but during the vetting process, Letty and the other folks in our team were really kind of digging in and looking at whether the providers we looked at would do enough kind of due diligence and support in the case of an audit. And that supporting documentation that we were able to kind of look at through with you was so thorough and very, very complete. And it gave Letty and our tax team just a ton of confidence that we were on the right solution. And again, honestly, selling this to a client we found is fairly easy. It's free money, essentially. We talked about how much goes unclaimed, and they're already working with Gusto. So, right, that's just a much more seamless process. So not only do they trust these folks, but it makes things like the paperwork, the disbursement, the record keeping so much easier, and it just saves everyone a tremendous amount of time. And that, I think we all know as accounting professionals, is so key in saving time, especially during tax season, and saving time for the clients too, because our clients are entrepreneurs and small businesses and wearing so many different hats, being stretched very thin. And then I just love this here, Letty, who I just referred to, made her feel like a hero. Like, right? We don't get all those opportunities all the time to feel that way. But I mean, when you find clients' tax savings and you're kind of putting money back in their pocket, we do look like heroes. That's especially for startups and I think early stage companies that really every penny counts. So that's just fun to have her feel that way and see the client impact.
Such a great story. That's one of the things that's so fulfilling sometimes about being a public accountant, right? The impact that we can have on our clients. So if you guys want to have an impact, especially on any clients that might qualify or not sure if they qualify, we still have the 1017 deadline. It's coming up. You still have time, but not too much, yeah. Right? Busy season. So time is of the essence. We'd love to partner with you guys on getting clients tax credits that they're eligible for. And it's not just for this tax filing deadline, then maybe it's next spring, right? So get in touch with your account manager, and we can start that conversation with your firm and clients. Our mission with the R&D tax credit at Gusto is to get clients the tax credits they deserve. We believe that by getting them these tax credits, we can help empower their communities where they live and give these meaningful tax credits hundreds, even thousands of dollars, right, in savings. So they can continue pursuing and empowering innovation and collectively into that better future. Now, I know this is near the end of our presentation, and last year I ended off, with a rap, right, or my poem that my kids put together. And so Kenji and I wanted to do a rap for you. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, yeah.
I saw it say, so
First I've heard of that. It's called freestyle rap.
Or maybe we could do a dance, TikTok, we can get on there.
Or maybe we'd spare all of you that. But
what I wanted to do is still end off on a memorable moment. And I wanted to make sure that, Kenji had something, out of Acuity to show our appreciation at Gusto for what we do. Something that they can hang on the wall. Something they can hang on the wall symbolically of the R&D credit. Now, don't go cashing this.
Symbolically?
Okay?
Wait a minute. Hold up a sec.
But just something that they can remind him, right, of what we've done together over the past year and what we're going to continue doing together. So let's give it up for Kenji and Acuity, right? And thank you so much, bro. It's been so awesome.
Thank you.
Working with you. So thank you guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate it.
What is this?